Hello everybody, it's time for another Helminth build guide. We're gonna do a thing with frost for this one. Now I'm gonna throw out a couple of caveats first here. Number one, yes, I am aware of the current sort of frost. I'm not gonna call it an exploit, because I'm not sure if it is, but I'm aware of the current frost build, which lets him one-shot any enemy in the game with some abilities and viral damage and whatnot. There are already videos put out about this nuke frost by both Ludens and Warframe, talking about this specific interaction. So if you're interested in that, go check out their videos. Not gonna cover that because, hey, that's already been covered, and there's a decent chance, I'm gonna say like a 50-50 chance that that's gonna get nerfed. And in this case, it would be a nerf instead of a fix, because this is just something that Frost can do. But that's kind of a very different build, and it doesn't play the way Frost normally plays. It plays it very differently. But with that build, you can kill any enemy in the game with Nuke Frost. But one thing that sort of like caught my eye when I looked at those videos, and I looked at the comment section, and I found a comment on one of those videos saying that like this is neat, this is an interesting build, but like as a Frost player, this doesn't interest me, because this is not how I play Frost. This is not what I want Frost to be. And that kind of got me thinking a bit about the Helminth system and like sort of what you can do with it, because like I've obviously, like everyone's hunting for the next big broken build or whatever, and to that extent, you know, I did my I dabbled in my busted stuff with like Tesla Limbo, stuff like that, before it got fixed. But that's not everything there is to the Helminth system. You can do a couple of different things with it. You can either find broken interactions between skills and abilities that allow you to do sort of busted shit. That's one thing you can do with it. You can also do stuff where you have like a Warframe that has some bad abilities that can easily be replaced or whatever, to sort of like open up new playstyles, if that's something you're into. But then there's also like room for using the Helminth system to just enhance what's already there. Because hey, maybe there are Frost players out there who they play Frost because they like the way Frost plays. They like sitting in the globe in defense missions and just sort of having a chill time. Hey. And they don't want the sort of like weird, sort of janky, busted shit. They just want to know, hey, how can I take Frost and just turn him into a slightly better version of himself? Is there anything we can do to just sort of kind of improve upon him, but keep the gameplay the same as it is today? Just let me play Frost the way I've always played Frost, because I like playing Frost. I just want a slightly better version of Frost. And I think it's important to highlight that the Helminth system can work in that way as well. So if you're coming to this video and expecting like hey, here's how you use this ability from the Helminth system to let Frost do 2 hours of steel path survival. Sorry, that's not this video. That's not what this video is. But if you are a Frost player who is like, hey, I like playing Frost, how can I Frost more with my Frost the way I Frost? Well, I got good news for you. This is the build guide for you. So let's get to the actual guide, shall we? I have infused Frost with Chroma's Elemental Ward, which is kind of neat in this build. And I've replaced his number 2, and for all the experienced Frost players out there, you probably already understand why. It's because his number 2 is kind of redundant in his kit. Snow Globe is his bread and butter. You place a Snow Globe, you defend the objectives. That's what it does. That's why you play Frost. Freeze is very important for 2 things. You can do spot crowd control on a single enemy. Freeze a single enemy. Works on a lot of stuff. Works on goddamn Kuvaliches. You can just freeze them in the tracks. And also you use this ability to pop your Snow Globes if you want to like reposition them. Also important. And then you have avalanche, which is the sort of alt, and the detonation here is important because it armor strips. It allows Frost to strip armor, so you can take out kind of tough opponents. So you want to keep that one as well. But Ice Wave kind of is outclassed by all his other abilities. It's kind of like an inferior version of Avalanche. And Freeze sort of accomplishes the same thing anyway, so there's no point to it. It's very obvious that that's the ability you want to replace. So I figured, why not put in Elemental Ward? Because, you know, Frost, he doesn't mind having a bit more survivability when he's outside of the snow globe, but also it synergizes with the snow globe. So, Elemental Ward from Chroma, it does a couple of different things. It can do 4 different things depending on what element you give it, and what element you give it is dependent on your emissive color. And going for a nice gray here, because interestingly enough, or appropriately enough, what we want from Elemental Ward is actually the cold buff. So, what the cold buff does is it boosts your armor. Right? It boosts your armor. Now, here is why this is important. If you bring up the wiki giving us some more information about Snow Globe and you know how it functions, what it's based on, you can see that the Snow Globe has a base health of 5,000, and then it gains an additional health, which is 500% of Frost's base armor bonuses. And you can see the actual sort of like formula here, which is base health plus armor multiplier multiplied by Frost's base armor, plus base armor bonus, plus additional armor, plus ability strength, yada yada yada. So, what's important is that you have like armor modifiers and ability strength, of course, but also the base armor, which it's a decently high number for Frost. He has a base armor of 300, which is pretty good. So that sort of determines, you know, how strong the globe is going to be, how much health it's going to have. And then when you go to Chroma and check out his Elemental Ward and see how that works, what's cool is that what it does is increases the base armor of the Warframe that uses it up to like 150% at just 100% ability strength. And also an ice shield that reflects damage and gives cold procs to enemies, which is fine. But the important thing is that it increases the base armor. So with 250% ability strength, it will increase his base armor by about, I think, 400% or so. And with the calculation for how Snow Globe works, being able to ramp up your base armor by that much actually makes your Snow Globe a whole lot tougher than it was before. A whole lot tougher. So, if we go to the actual build, I have put in some resources into this. This is a... I've formatted every slot except for 2, which I use for 2 Umbral mods. Because I want ability strength and I want armor. So I've actually been putting a lot of points into armor with this, because, you know, it's nice damage reduction as it is, and with Elemental Ward you get a very hefty damage reduction. I'm trying to keep everything at about 100%, and then I put strength up as far as I can. If you want your number 4 ability to get 100% armor strip, you actually need to have 250% ability strength. But that's fine, because this build wants a whole lot of ability strength anyway, because it synergizes with your Snow Globe and with your Elemental Ward as well. So, what you can do, and also, as Frost players know, you can like spam a bunch of Snow Globes on top of each other to increase the health of it. So, if I were to just, you know, like spawn some Corrupted Heavy Gunners just to check the toughness of it, right? And then I activate the Elemental Ward to get my huge and chunky armor buff. And then I like smack up, say, 3 Snow Globes like here. Like, yeah, they're shooting at it, but if you look at the number at the bottom here, it's like the health of this Snow Globe is ticking down very, very slowly. And like they are struggling. They are absolutely struggling to even make a dent in this Snow Globe. So if we put it at like just, you know, what you're probably normally gonna do with a Frost, it's good. You can run like as far up as Steel Path, as far as Kuvalich missions, as far up as sorties, whatever. This sort of stuff you normally do with a Frost. And then you crack open your elemental ward, pop a bunch of globes, and you know, they're shooting, but like they are not even a little bit hurting this snow globe. Like these shots are just they're not doing anything. So you can snow globe for days, basically. Like you can, this makes it so that like the ability to defend multiple objectives at the same time is even more stupid than it was previously. These are level 100 units. We're trying to shoot this globe. They're not making a dent in it, not even a little bit. It's just fine. And that's it, right? I'm gonna kill these enemies because I'm not doing a bunch of damage. I'm not showing off how to kill level 175 heavy gunners or anything like that. It's not what this build is about. Simply showing you how to Frost, but even better than you already were. You're probably not even using that number 2 ability anyway, so why not just give yourself a massive buff to your base armor to make your snow globes very, very much stronger than they were before. And then you can predict stuff even easier. That's it, like that's the build. Yeah. Frost with elemental ward. Cold. He's still Frost. He's just slightly better than you were yesterday. That's it. That's the whole thing in a nutshell.